and welcome back to Altcoin Buzz. It's me, Jimbo, back for another market update. In today's video, we're going to be recapping our Bitcoin technical analysis. We will be rattling through oil, the Dow Jones Index, and gold because there are huge things playing out on those charts that I think you need to be aware of. To conclude today's technical analysis, we will be charting COTI, which looks like it's ready to absolutely melt faces, but I'll let you be the judge of that at the end of the video. If you'd like to continue supporting the channel, please leave a like on this video. I'd love to see this one push above 300. And if you want a chance to win the CryptoTag Zeus starter kit, make sure to be subscribed to the channel if you're not already and leave a comment down below and we'll announce the winner on Saturday. We're going to start right here on the Bitcoin weekly chart as we normally do. We're currently trading just above our support line that we have here, support/resistance line at 6,500. At time of recording, we're trading at $6,643. What I really want to point out to you today on the weekly chart is this area of interest on the RSI. You can see I've got it highlighted here with this grey box. Now take a look back at our 2018 and 2019 low. This is the last time we traded outside of this box on the downside. What I want to show you guys here is just how powerful our move was once we broke into this box. See here, we broke in, we established ourselves above the previous resistance. Once again, we broke through the resistance and found support on it. And once we did, we really moved really quickly. We even bounced down and tested this box as support before pushing up for any further moves. So I think it's really interesting to see that we're currently coming back into this box. Remember that the RSI is a lagging indicator, so there is still a chance that if we saw a sharp rejection on this weekly candle, we would still see a rejection from this potential resistance area. So I think it's really important to keep an eye on this. Once we come back for our update on Saturday, we'll be able to see more clearly how we're going to likely close the weekly candle. But just something to watch, an area of interest to focus on. Let's dive down onto the daily chart and see if we can find anything else in there of interest. Let's start on the daily by analysing our exponential moving average ribbon, which we identified on Monday. And as you can see here, on Monday's candle, we were currently seeing rejection. We hadn't quite broken into this band. Yesterday's candle, Tuesday's candle, has seen us close above the 20 exponential moving average in this ribbon, which is great to see. And as you can see, we're seeing quite a lot of volatility on today's candle of whether or not we're going to close above or below. If you're watching this and it's Thursday, have a look on your chart, go to the daily, overlay the exponential moving average ribbon, here it is, and see, did Wednesday's candle close above this 20 exponential moving average, this bottom line or not? Because if we do close above it and we see support, that may suggest to us that we're likely to see a little bit more upturn and we're going to go on to challenge some more of these exponential moving averages. If we close below it, then that might be more of an indication that we're likely to see some downside action ahead. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to some of our more classic indicators and see what they're reflecting. I've now put our trend lines back in view and I've got a couple of indicators for us to look at. So obviously we're still trending below our key resistance points here, our purple previous support line from the uptrend and our big resistance here at 7,300. I think if we break all of these things, it's going to coincide all at the same time, a 50 exponential moving average break and these two resistances. That's going to be a really powerful move if we do break those and close above them. I think that would really trigger something nice, so that's worth keeping an eye on as the days go on. We are currently seeing this red candle forming, of course. Let's see how our indicators down here at the bottom are reflected. We currently have our MACD still in the uptrend, coming from very low lows because of how long this sell-off continued for, all the way down at minus 1,000 here, which is really, really low. So it's good to see us in the uptrend, but we are coming from a very low place. Obviously, our best position to be in is to be seeing the green markers and be above the 0 point. We're quite a long way away from that at the moment, but we are on our way up. I just want to point something out here on the TDI as well, the Traders Dynamic Index. Let's go full screen on that. Now, this looks like a noisy indicator, but what I just want to point out to you, without going into too much detail, is how these blue bands that you see on the outside, these are formed off the Bollinger Bands, okay? We don't often see the TDI spend a huge amount of time out of these Bollinger Bands, and if we do, it sees increased volatility. So you can see once we're out and once we break out, you see these big movements, okay? So it's usually a lot of volatility which takes us outside of the Bollinger Bands. The reason that I'm talking about this is because we are very fastly approaching our upper limit Bollinger Band here on the TDI. Our moving averages are creeping closer towards, which would suggest that we have got a move incoming, whether it's going to be a rejection of the Bollinger Band, which is the most common thing to happen when we hit these Bollinger Bands, or if we're going to see a really big push up and see this green spike. So with that Bollinger Band resistance approaching on the daily on our TDI, I just wanted to point out a few things on the 4 hour to see if we can see some positions of interest of which is going to indicate to us whether we're going to break out or down, okay? So just have a look at the yellow lines. Pay attention to the yellow lines primarily. This could be determined as a rising wedge, and if you scroll out a bit further, you could put a flag pole on this and say that it could be a continuation of a bear flag pattern, but the flag is a bit long for that, but it could be. We could also say that we've already broken out potentially of an ascending triangle, but I'm not seeing the volume to match that. We haven't seen any confirmation with the volume. We're clearly still on a downtrend since the sell-off. So until we see any clear break of the volume, you know, there's no confirmation breakout. I put this yellow line in here because I think if we spring above this, and it's about 6.9, if we get above this and get some 4 hour closes above that, then things are starting to look a bit more bullish. And then, of course, we've got that all-important line at the 7.3 to 7.4 area, which we've highlighted there on the daily chart. The 4 hour MACD does look dangerously close to crossing down, but we do often see this reject and bounce back up. However, with only 29 minutes of the 4 hour candle remaining, the candle certainly isn't looking very strong at the moment. So it's going to be very important which way this closes. And as I said, there's likelihood that you're seeing this a little bit later than when I'm recording. So go and have a look at the chart. Did our 4 hour MACD cross down? And if it did we break this bottom support line? That's certainly worth watching on the 4 hour, and that would probably coincide with a rejection of our Bollinger Band on the daily. Again, likewise, if we break up through these lines, then we're going to be seeing that extra volatility to the upside as we break out of the Bollinger Bands on the daily TDI. So just worth putting these time frames together and just using all the analysis that we have at our disposal to get a best picture of where we're at. So there's a couple more charts that I just want to bring to your attention today. Not all strictly crypto, so I'm going to try and rattle through them as quick as possible, but I think they certainly are of interest. So this is first up is CFDs on crude oil. Have a look at this. Would you be buying this pattern? This could be either a springboard test for see oil retest these 50 levels, or it could be the biggest the longest played out death pattern that I have seen probably ever. And if we have a look at our weekly chart, zoom out that a little bit further, you can see we found some support here on this long-term trend line. What a position entry this could be if we are to see oil to start recovering now. I'm just going to highlight this to you because I really think it's interesting. This has clearly worked as a support. The question is, are we likely to see oil recover from here, or are we going to see this long-term support line break? I think that's really interesting. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. We've still got our MACD flying to the downside, but with such a huge move, that's hardly out of the ordinary. But yeah, just wanted to bring that to your attention. Huge pattern on oil there. This is going back all the way to 2008. If this breaks this support line, well, we could see it may never recover to any of these prices again after that, unless we see some massive geopolitical event which changes it. But as you can see, even oil fairly well respects its support and resistance lines. It's clear as day that this is playing out in support and resistance line, even over such a huge period of time. We formed this this resistance line here, and we respected it almost perfectly. We formed this support line here in 2016, and yet again, it looks like we're on our way to respecting it. Let's see how the week plays out for oil. This could be really interesting. Next up, the DJI, and I just can't do a video without focusing on this at the moment just because it's been so crazy. Another massively volatile day in the US stock markets yesterday, being celebrated within the top 5 best performing days of the stock market. But there's some hidden things that aren't really being displayed in those news articles, and that is that the other 4 times that are within that top 5 biggest moves on the daily for the stock markets were all during or around the time of the Great Depression. So yes, it's good to see it pumping back up. It's great to see us seeing some support, especially we're seeing this 18,500 area being respected that we've had highlighted for a couple of weeks now. We've clearly seen support from there and a break back above. But just bear in mind that this big move, all the government stimuluses that are being put into place, and that the other 4 days that make that top 5 biggest stock market moves were all in and around the Great Depression. it is good to see us get back above this 21,000 support line, support and resistant line very quickly. We have obviously got the much more significant one here still at 23,000 to go. And I just want to re-highlight, if you've been watching my videos over the last couple of weeks, you know that I've been saying about this exponential moving average ribbon on the DJI and how we tested it so many times during the 2008-2009 recession. I wonder if this move may coincide with the test of this ribbon over the next couple of weeks. But because we're seeing such huge volatility, our ribbon is still absolutely miles away. So realistically, we might even pump all the way up to 25,000 and still get rejected from this ribbon and break back down. So crazy times in the DJI. I just wanted to point that out. Keep your eyes on 23,300 as the week goes on. I'll be very surprised if it gets all the way up there this week, as we've only got 2 more trading days left on the DJI. Not a problem that Bitcoin has, but anyway, that was definitely an area to watch. Take a look at CFDs on gold. Have a look at what happened here. This is the weekly chart. We've had this big sell-off, obviously, which coincides with the rest of the markets tumbling. But look at this, briefly below our exponential moving average, and we came all the way back up and closed within it, and a huge pump now back up. If this isn't looking like a bullish sign to you, then I don't know what you're looking at. We've currently seen the VIX begin to drop, and quite often when the VIX drops, we do also see gold increasing. And I wonder if that's going to follow through to Bitcoin, as that is now considered, or will be considered, a digital gold, perhaps, by many of you. So it would be interesting to see if we do see Bitcoin catch up with gold, but really interesting to see that it's pumped so hard and so quickly recovered, and really well respected this exponential moving average ribbon. And I think this is a really good indication of how this works. You can see we've tested it all the way down, but respected it, pumped back up, closed within, and then boom, gone. Really moved up. Really good to see. To conclude the TA for today's video, we are going to analyse COTI Bitcoin, and this is on the 4-hour chart. I think this may be ready to absolutely melt faces, just as it has done in previous run-ups for COTI. The last time we saw an absolutely monumental raise, and I wonder if we're about to see that once again. I'm just drawing a couple of support and resistance lines in place, which I see as quite important. We've clearly broken out of that pattern, and we're respecting that with only 1 minute left of this 4-hour candle. Really well respecting these trend lines. We've broken out. We look like we're about to establish an uptrend, and just to give that a little bit more extra weighting, let's pull up our old friend, the exponential moving average ribbon. We've absolutely smashed through it. We've come down, we've tested, and we are well above. It's clear as day we're going to close above now with only 1 minute left of this 4-hour candle. I'm going to revisit this chart on Saturday to see just how well COTI has performed. Currently at 240 Satoshis. I wouldn't be surprised if we go on to test 280 at the minimum. Possibly we go all the way up here to 300 Satoshis. Whether or not that will happen before Saturday will be yet to be seen. But at the moment, this is looking really bullish. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. That's just me having a look at this altcoin chart and just telling you how I see it. And remember as well, if Bitcoin does something terrible and drops a big red candle on us, or even a big green candle on us, this chart can change very quickly. So it's important to always keep an eye on Bitcoin whilst we're trading these alts as well, if that's what you choose to do. Sadly, that's going to conclude today's video, but if you're hungry for more altcoin buzz news, come over here to altcoinbuzz.io, where we've got all things crypto. Great place to come and get your cryptocurrency news. I highly recommend it. If you would please do me the favour of slapping a like on this video, that'd be great. It's going to help us get content to more people. And if you want a chance to win that CryptoTag Zeus starter kit, remember to leave a comment down below and be subscribed to the channel if you're not already. I'll be back on Saturday for another update. Take care out there, guys. Remember to keep all your general hygiene and all those sort of things up. Do the social distancing. This is a really good time to use your time to learn. Don't just sit and do nothing. This is a great time to be productive. I'll see you on Saturday, guys. Take care. Bye.